So once again, I'm Marvin. I'm a partner of 500Startups. I actually run the San Francisco Accelerator. So a little bit about our Accelerator. We have usually about 1,000 applications for 30 spots. A couple things. The main reason for our Accelerator is we focus on fundraising as well as customer acquisition distribution. And that's part of the reason a lot of the companies we actually accept, our program has evolved. We're on batch 11 right now. We're actually starting batch 12 in San Francisco in January. So over time, we've actually found our program has actually evolved quite a lot. So besides the point about focus on fundraising and focus on distribution, the reason for this is because we're finding that as we get a bigger pool of actually candidates, we're bringing in companies that tend to be much more later stage. So for the most part, we do make some exceptions, but for the most part, most of our companies tend to be later stage. So for example, batch 10, probably I think is like 30% of the companies had actually been through another accelerator program before. All the companies, I'd say out of the 30 companies in my batch, I just ran batch 10, 28 of them had a working product already. Most of them have raised between $250,000 to $500,000 in money already coming into the program. So you get a sense that we're becoming sort of a post-accelerator program, just because of the big focus. I think one of the other selling points besides us being international and sort of giving access to a fairly big network of previous founders and previous batches, distribution. So we have an in-house team of distribution experts. We have great relationships with downstream venture capital firms, and of course, the big community. We've invested in over 900 companies, so that's over 1,100 founders that you have potential access and expertise, 280 mentors across the globe, experts in UED, user experience design and user experience, experts in marketing, experts in tech, whatever you look for, right? People work at large companies, people work at small startups, and people have exited startups. We have experts in all these areas. And so I think the best way to actually talk about the program is actually through one of our recent graduates who just graduated in batch 10, and we'd love to hear talk about your experience.
Yeah, so hi, my name is Cristobal, and just a little bit of background so you know what we're doing. I've spent the last 8 years between the Nordics and Asia, 4 years in Stockholm, where basically I run a startup on the traveling industry, and then another 4 years basically in Singapore, where we were part of a company called Viki, and I was in charge of the whole backend technology, the platform side, scale the company. We scaled it to 30 million users, and we sold it to Rakuten for $200 million. So after these two startups, basically I thought, well, I know how to, one I founded, the other one I was part of, I know how startups works, and basically we launched a new one in January this year, and we've been with our product, and we were having quite some traction, like 5% growth month over month. And I basically thought that I knew how to run these things, but I was convinced and persuaded to join 500Startups because Dave McClure, who was an investor in the previous company I was working with, told me, Bill, if you need distribution, if you need marketing, if you need business development, you should come to Silicon Valley, you should tap on our network, and we can help you. So I joined them in July this year, and basically since we joined them, we started growing at 45% month over month. They've been helping us a lot on the networking side, connections with Apple, with Google, with other different companies. And not only that, but the mentorships has been great as well. Whenever we have a problem, for example, like doing cohort analysis or understanding our users, we've been actually, Marvin was a point of contact in the company, so he's been introducing us to the right mentors to help us understand these things. Another thing that was pretty cool is the fact that we are together with 30 other startups at the same time, so we are running at the same time with a lot of companies that are struggling on the same kind of things as us. And also we can tap onto their network. So basically 500 is like a family. So whenever we want to talk to some investor, for example, maybe this other co-founder has already a connection with him, so he can introduce us. And not only with the current co-founders, but also with the whole, over how many startups you have funded? 400, 500 startups so far invested into?
So we've invested in about 900 companies.
Yeah, so about 900 companies. You can imagine the network is really huge, and we can just reach them out. Can you introduce me to this person? And they're happy to do it. And people is quite proud of being part of the family. If you look at the LinkedIn profile, they say, my name is that, and I'm a 500 strong. Other than this, just 8 weeks after joining the program, even before demo day, we were able to raise quite a good seed round. And then after the demo day, we are like in contact with quite a number of investors that are willing to put money. And now basically it's us to say, okay, which ones are the strategic investors, which ones are just for money. Other than this, I don't know what else. Yeah. I don't know if like anybody have any questions about how the program runs or what we do. Like.
And you know, one of the things that Chris actually mentions is about we're firm believers in actually co-working, right? Of just actually bringing companies in. You know, we're very different than other programs where we actually recommend when we actually bring in the companies that they actually work together for the 12 to 14 week program. It's actually really important. That's how we think about our community. So we're very selective. My view is that if you want to be part of a larger community, we think 500 Startups is a great program. If you don't care about that, we're not the program for you.
Another thing as well is that the fact that it's not so much focused on building a product like Y Combinator. So basically, when you join, you're supposed to have a product already, some traction, and they are going to help you on the distribution and marketing side and fundraising, of course.
That's basically it. So I think we're around for a bit. So if you guys have any other questions, please let us know. But thank you very much for your time.
Thanks.